So now we have a capture Windows 7 master. The last step, we made sure that you add that boot image. If you didn't, you can just right click on your boot images folder and select add boot image and browse to that file that we created, Win7 capture, and it open and it will add it to it. But we did that in the wizard at the last step. After it's done creating the image, we go ahead and added it to our server. So we should have that listed in here now. And we're going to right click on our server and we're going to prepare a few things that we need. One of them being what default boot image we're going to use. So we'll go to properties, and this is where we go to boot and default boot image. So for x64-bit architecture, we're going to select, and we're going to use the Windows 7 capture image. So now that will be the image that will boot when we do a Pixie boot on our workstations. Hit OK. Next thing we do is get an unattended file ready to go. So when we sysprep our Windows 7 workstation, it's going to have an unattended file that will automatically set up a few options. And just for the sake of this example, we're going to copy our XML file from the example that I have. And if we go back to our Windows Explorer, we're going to be able to find that on our student share. So I'm going to type this into your address bar, and we should see an unattended file that I put out there. Okay, so we're going to right click on that and copy it. And we're going to put this on the C drive underneath our remote install folder, just so we have a good location to store it. And this is an XML document, by the way. My folder options aren't set to hide the extensions. There we go. So it's an unattended.xml file. Okay, so now that we have that file, if we just open it up, I'll take a look at it here. Let's open it with WordPad just so I can show you quickly what it looks like. So here it's going through into a typical XML file, identifying some options here, and one of them is that I did specialize and change is block pop-ups in Internet Explorer and set my home page to youtube.com/Mr. Halverson, and that will take us to the IE. When we open that up, it'll take us to this as the default home page. Under computer name, I left that star, and I also have the network set to work. And here's where we need to put the Southwest Tech, the name of the computer, and who it's licensed to, and then the product key. So that product key, you're going to have to enter in a true product key. We'll leave it at XXXX for now, and it will probably fail out on that part, but it'll work for our demonstrations here. Okay, so then to use that unattended file, now that we copied it, we're going to go to our server, go to Properties, and underneath Client tab, we have enabled the unattended install, and under the x64 architecture, we're going to browse, and here's our unattended file that we copied. Hit Open. And again, that's on the C remote install folder, Unattended XML, and hit OK. So now our server should be ready to go to image a workstation. So now we need to boot our workstation so we can start capturing the image. So we're going to switch over to our Windows 7 workstation, and we're going to log in as an admin account and open up a command prompt. That's okay. And I'm going to right click on this and run as administrator just to make sure I have the full privileges that I need. And we should be in the C drive Windows System 32 Sysprep folder. Through directory listing here, we see that there is the sysprep.exe. So we're going to run sysprep space /OOBE for out-of-box experience /generalize /shutdown. What that will do is it will set up out-of-box experience, meaning it'll take you to the Windows screen. It'll generalize, meaning remove all of the PC hardware identification information because it's going to be duplicated at multiple computers. And then shut down after it's done running the sysprep cleanup process. It'll shut down the computer, and we'll be able to boot it up over the network and start the capture process. So I'm going to hit enter on this, and it should go through the sysprep process. While that's working, I'm going to change the settings on this workstation. So the startup disk is going to be over the network host adapter. So change the startup disk to the network host adapter. And you can do that if you're using another VMware on VMware Workstation on Windows. It's going to be a different setting. But it should be in there. It should be an option to change the startup disk.
I'm getting a system error on mine.
What did you do after that?
We'll continue the next step here after this is done.